coming up. How's that minimum wage increase working out? The answers are mixed. Plus, a sensory experience of the Colorado Plateau. The news is next.
NAZ Today, Northern Arizona's local news.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Amelia Pyatt.
And I'm Ben Young. Thanks for tuning in.
We're learning more about shots fired incident at the Flagstaff Downtown Library around 7:25 last evening. At the same time, the Flagstaff City Council was in session and the meeting was placed on lockdown for 30 minutes. Officers located and detained a 28-year-old Linman Yazi, who was arrested on multiple weapons-related charges. No injuries were reported and officers remained in the area until city officials were cleared from City Hall.
At the beginning of this year, the minimum wage in Flagstaff increased to $18.35 an hour, $3 more than the state average. With this increase, people across the community are feeling the impact, and it's both positive and negative. NAZ Today's Dylan Mishima spoke with people across Flagstaff and city officials to better understand the raise and what it means to the community.
The minimum wage was first passed in the 2016 election as Proposition 414, which then became Title 15 of the Flagstaff City Code. Since then, the wage has steadily increased, eventually reaching over $18 this year. While the change aims to support workers, local businesses say it brings challenges. Flagstaff workers such as Andres Aguan says the increase has made a difference in their lives.
The minimum wage increase has, helped my paychecks go up higher. It's helped me pay for a lot more things such as my loans and bills for like phone service and stuff like that.
Local business owners, however, face the challenge of increased labor costs. Brent Shepard, owner of Fratelli Pizza, thinks the city could help offset increased costs.
We can get hammered in three areas. We can get hammered with our utility bills, our rent, then we have our labor costs, and then we have our food costs. So anything the city could do to reduce fees and help those businesses market themselves better, that could help offset that increased cost in labor.
This year's increase comes with a change. Now even employees who earn tips must also be paid the minimum wage.
Previously, there was what's called a tipped credit. So if you as an employee were earning tips, you could make a slightly lower minimum wage. In 2026, this is the first year that that's phased out completely. So that means that whether or not you're making tips, you have to be paid the minimum wage in Flagstaff.
As the minimum wage continues to rise, it's kind of a mixed bag. While it's helping to offset the high cost of living in Flagstaff, it may also be raising costs for employers and eventually consumers. Dylan Mishima, NAZ Today.
NAU student Carter Eslick pleaded not guilty during his arraignment Monday. He was indicted on a single felony hazing charge, a Class 4 felony. Prosecutors say they may introduce evidence such as illegal drugs, lab reports, recordings, and clothing. The prosecution's witness list includes 12 law enforcement officers and up to 54 civilian witnesses. The 20-year-old suspect is due back in court May 11th for a case management hearing.
Eslick is the sole person indicted in the alcohol poisoning of an 18-year-old Colin Martinez, who died at a party at the Delta Tau Delta fraternity.
Staffing issues and budget cuts have forced the end of the Bear Jaw Fire Crew. The Highlands Fire District and Pinewood Fire Department made the move. The crew was active from 2010 until last month. They specialized in wildfire response and mitigation.
After the Corner Tavern closed its doors, the only question remaining was who will take over this iconic property located directly on Route 66.
That was until the Sweet Shop, a longtime Flagstaff business, announced it would be moving into the space. NAZ Today's Noah McNeil has the story.
Thank you, Ben. The Sweet Shop is celebrating its 15th anniversary come this summer. And what better way to celebrate than by expanding? Earlier this week, the Sweet Shop, located on Aspen Ave, announced on social media that it would be packing up and moving to the recently closed Corner Tavern.
We're hoping to celebrate our 15th anniversary at the new location. So we're going to open up there early June.
The bar officially closed in February, but the candy store has high hopes that because of the site's accessibility, it will be a bigger draw for tourists.
We make so much stuff and have so much product, so even being able to lay more of our stuff out in the store is going to be huge. We are going to be so much busier just right there on Route 66, people driving by, being able to see that we have a candy store in Flagstaff.
Employees tell me that no matter what happens, they will bring the nostalgic feel of a classic candy store wherever they go.
So we're definitely hoping to take that to the new location, still have like our classic like pink and green colors everywhere and feel like you're a kid in a candy shop when you're walking around in there. So yeah, it's going to be super like retro still.
In past tourism seasons, the shop's seen nearly $10,000 in sales on a weekend. Now that's solely from sweets, candies, and gelato. Now that they're moving, they're hoping that they're going to do better.
As the 100th anniversary of Route 66 nears, Congress is considering whether to make the road an official U.S. trail, such as a designation may increase tourism by providing resources to preserve and promote the highway and its many historic sites. The move would likely be welcomed by tourism-related businesses in Flagstaff.
The second round of NAU's Axed Cooking Competition is in the history books. 3 teams battled it out, but only one has advanced to the final round. The team Double Trouble will face off against the Gastro Power Pair tomorrow, with a theme focused on native and local ingredients. The event is hosted by Campus Dining.
The Museum of Northern Arizona is hosting a call to the Colorado Plateau, a sensory experience that takes attendees through the art and history of the Colorado Plateau. NAZ Today's Anthony Treviso tells us about it.
When we say sensory, we mean the exhibit shows the sights, sounds, and even smells of this region, which covers 130,000 miles across parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. This exhibit includes pieces of the land's history and the artists who have depicted it over 100 years. Museum manager Christian Hutchinson helped bring together each part of the exhibit to give people the sense they have just stepped into nature. This was done through the use of sounds from the national parks and scents that emulate the real thing.
We want people to find those moments when they can stop and use all their senses to appreciate where they are and what bit of nature there is.
David Pulitzer, director of the School of Art and Design at NAU, helped to create the first part of the exhibit that includes a line of phone cameras depicting people at the Grand Canyon. Pulitzer created this project back in the 2010s, but came back to it to collaborate with the museum. Pulitzer says he hopes people find greater meaning in his art.
The piece is kind of like a time capsule of that early 2010s era when selfie culture was becoming a thing. Hopefully it gets people thinking about their own cell phone use and their own compulsion to document the things that they do. I also think it's kind of fun. I hope that there's some humor to it and some surprise to it.
The exhibit shows some of the artists who have depicted the Colorado Plateau going back over a century. This includes the writings and drawings of Everett Roos, who disappeared around 1934 while working on the plateau in Utah.
Technology's coming at us all the time, right? And yet when you read what Everett Roos wrote, 100 years ago, he was also finding that the speed of city life was a lot to deal with and that he needed to sometimes get away from it.
The exhibit is one of many at the museum that depicts the history and culture of Northern Arizona.
Right now in the background, a little bit of birds and the buzzing of some insects and some water, all of those things, how they add to the general feeling is really important. And I hope that people who come here really enjoy that aspect.
The exhibit is open until early January at the Museum of Northern Arizona, and it's next to a complimentary exhibit on the native peoples of the Colorado Plateau. Back to you.
The Flagstaff Book Fest starts tomorrow and runs through Sunday. The festival celebrates literary arts, culture, and community with lots of events throughout the weekend. There will be panels, workshops, readings, exhibits, and contests with more. The festival kicks off tomorrow and wraps up Sunday. All events will be held in downtown Flagstaff and on the NAU campus.
Tribal members from around Arizona held a powwow at NAU over the weekend.
The powwow celebrates the culture of local indigenous groups through the variety of art and performances. NAZ Today's Priscilla Deal was there.
From music to clothing to art, this powwow was a lively, colorful, memorable event.
It brings us strength, and when we're down in hard times, we come to the powwow circle or we listen to the powwow music, and just hearing the drums beating gives us hope.
A powwow is a social gathering that includes competitive dances. At the start of each dance, the MC introduces the music, the dance, and the message.
It's very significant because just being like a two-spirit person here in town, we don't have a lot of powwows that come. We have like the high school powwows, we have some Indian markets that come into town. It's nice to see it on campus, especially when you're a lumberjack here and you're able to celebrate it and feel welcome because it's your own people here.
Geishi says this event shows the growing strength of Indigenous culture in Flagstaff.
It was a bunch of us that wanted to bring back the powwow lifestyle here, and it is medicine for our people here.
Other than performances, the powwow gave space for more community engagement.
Well, I think like for us to like showcase our art, like especially to each other, and then like for other people who aren't like native to come and just to experience like real art from real native people, not like manufactured by like a big company where they have like no ties to like any native or indigenous people.
The art ranged from paintings, jewelry, clothing, stickers, and postcards.
And that's what we really want, to keep the powwow here at NAU and keep it going. You know, we want to see it thrive and hopefully see more and more dancers come here.
This is the second annual powwow hosted by the Pine County Powwow Society.
Coming up, meet our pet of the week. Stay with us.
We've been getting a lot of sunshine compared to what we've been seeing this last week, but that is going to change going into this weekend. Stay tuned after the break.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
The Artemis II mission launched last week out of Kennedy Space Center in Florida. During the mission, 4 astronauts made history by traveling further than ever before as they passed behind the moon. The crew traveled 252,756 miles from Earth, passing the record set by Apollo 13 mission back in 1970. They are set to land off the coast of San Diego this Friday.
A new thrift store is coming to downtown Flagstaff. Vintage Soul will host its grand opening tomorrow and through the 12th. The shop will sell vintage clothing, jewelry, accessories, handmade goods, and more. The store is located at 215 South San Francisco Road.
This week's Pet of the Week is a dog who loves to play and cuddle. NAZ Today's Rachel Vasquez introduces us to the friendly pup.
7-month-old Juniper is a pit bull mix that loves to sunbathe, socialize, and snuggle.
What?
Jupiter has been at Coconino Humane Association for about 5 months now and is looking for her new home. Romenkis says she gets along well with adults and kids, making her a great addition to any household.
Snuggly, she just wants to be in your lap and cuddle up with you. Like, what kind of dog is just gonna let you hold them like this? Not a lot.
She don't mind, do you? No, you don't mind.
No, you don't mind. Yeah, she's great.
Romenkis says she believes Jupiter is a pit bull and lab mix. Jupiter loves to play fetch, tug of war, and enjoys hiking and being outside. Romenkis says she is the perfect age to be taught new tricks and behaviors.
I would say that if you're looking for like literally the perfect dog, this is her. She doesn't really have any behavioral problems. She's smart as a whip, loves people, loves kids, and she's got like the cutest face. I mean, she's just perfect.
Jupiter is looking for a forever home. To find out more, visit coconinohumane.org. Back to you guys.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive.
Hi there, welcome back. I'm Aishaya Tanaka and I'll be bringing you your weather for this Wednesday evening. Now today, right now, we're seeing those sunny skies with 68 degrees and southwest winds coming in at 13 miles per hour. We have a dew point of 15 degrees, which is making that humidity feel a little bit warmer today. And now on our satellite, we're seeing current temperatures throughout northern Arizona. We're going to be sitting in the high 70s and high 60s today. We have Williams matching with us at 66, Prescott down at 75, and then Payson we're getting a little bit lower at 73. And now throughout all of Arizona, we are seeing higher temperatures in the 80s and the 90s. We have Phoenix sitting in 94, Yuma at 95, and Tucson sitting at 89, and we will be seeing Kingman at 82. And now looking at our current satellite, we aren't seeing that much cloud coverage, so it is making that sun feel a little bit warmer today. But we do have some breeze coming in tomorrow. We'll be starting at 37 degrees with a chilly morning, so maybe carry a jacket on you until about 10 a.m. when we'll be rising to 61 degrees. And then we'll have more breeze coming in, but we'll be having a high of 69 degrees tomorrow by 3 p.m. And now for our 5-day forecast, like I said, we'll be having cooler temperatures coming in throughout the weekend. Tomorrow we'll be having sunny skies with a high of 69, but then going into this weekend, we'll be expecting some thunderstorms. We'll be having a 10% chance on Saturday with a high of 54, and on Sunday we'll have a high of 50 with a 50% chance of rain. And that will continue on into Monday and next week. And now that's all the weather that I have for you. Stay tuned for sports after the break with Adriana Sparks.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org. Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. My name is Adriana Sparks. I'm your sports reporter this evening, and we've got so much to cover, so let's jump right in to the big story. For the first time ever, Phoenix hosted the NCAA Women's Final Four and turned the most competitive women's basketball event into a desert showcase. Now, viewership for women's basketball is at an all-time high, and that excitement requires a larger venue, and the Grand Canyon State was just the spot. Our NAZ sports crew was there to catch all the action. Now, it was a very competitive weekend until the very end. The Gamecocks and the Bruins, what was expected to be an equal matchup, became a blowout. But history was made on Sunday, and it was painted blue and gold. For the first time in program history, the UCLA Bruins became NCAA national champions. Gabriela Jaquez led the charge for the Bruins with 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, while Lauren Betts anchored both ends, 16 points and 11 boards. But this one was never really in doubt. South Carolina never led, and UCLA held the Gamecocks to just 17% shooting in the opening quarter. So by halftime, the Bruins had built a double-digit cushion. And then came the knockout punch, a 12-3 run to open the third, blowing the lead wide open. And from there, it was all UCLA. Now, this is the first national championship appearance for head coach Corey Close, but for South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley, it's back-to-back title game heartbreak. UCLA finished the year 37-1. A near-perfect season, capped with a near-perfect performance on the perfect stage. Here's what head coach Corey Close had to say after the game.
We want to recruit courageous. Gets me choked up. Because there's a lot of times where we wondered if it could be true. I said I wanted to find uncommon, courageous women that were willing to make uncommon choices that maybe possibly could yield an uncommon result. And today it did.
Now, it was all smiles for Close and the Bruins, but that wasn't the case for South Carolina's Dawn Staley and UConn's Gino Auriemma, whose midcourt argument after a dominant Gamecock victory over the Huskies in the Final Four round fueled a firestorm of controversy.
Inbound here. The officials will hold the players. Now Dawn and Gino getting into it a little bit on the sideline as Gino has to be held back. And Dawn and Gino, that's...
But Gino wasn't just fired up after the game. During an interview with Holly Rowe before the fourth quarter, he ripped the game's officiating.
But this is ridiculous. Their coach rants and raves on the sideline and calls the referee some names you don't want to hear. And now we get 6-0, and I got a kid with a ripped jersey, and they go, I didn't see it. Come on, man. This is for the national championship.
But Auriemma says the frustration stems from a pregame handshake that allegedly didn't happen between the two, and his disdain extended into the postgame locker room.
For 41 years, I've been coaching, and I've been, 25 Final Fours. And the protocol is, before the game, you meet at half court. Anybody ever see that before? Two coaches meet at half court and they shake hands. Correct? You ever see it? They announce it on the loudspeaker. And I waited there for like 3 minutes.
Dawn Staley, though, kept her response short in the postgame and said she didn't want the drama to take away from South Carolina's upset.
You can ask Gino the question. You know, he's the one that initiated the conversation. I don't want, what happened there to dampen what we were able to accomplish today.
In a statement on UConn's social media yesterday, Gino formally apologized to Staley, writing, "There's no excuse for how I handled the end of the game versus South Carolina. It's unlike what I do and what our standard here is at Connecticut. I want to apologize to the staff and the team. It was uncalled for in how I reacted. The story should be how well South Carolina played, and I don't want my actions to detract from that. I've had a great relationship with the staff, and I sincerely want to apologize to them." In a much less dramatic fashion, The Texas Longhorns also fell in the Final Four round to UCLA. However, Brea Cunningham, an Arizona transfer, still recalls how Northern Arizona University played a part in her journey to the big stage.
NAU was a really good team. Arizona, we had our own issues going on during that season, but I think we lost to every Arizona team except for ASU that last year. So I think that was just kind of I try to use it as motivation to keep going.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we've got today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Adriana Sparks. Stay tuned for your weather recap with Ashaya Tanaka after the break.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Now looking back at that recap again, we'll be starting tomorrow off with sunny skies, but that'll slowly be going away throughout the weekend with those scattered showers that we're expecting throughout the weekend going into next week.
Now, I'm excited for the book festival that's happening this weekend.
What's everyone's favorite book?
I kind of have been loving reading The Summer I Turned Pretty every time it's summer. It makes me feel very girl.
Well, I'm a sports reporter, so I don't read a lot, but my favorite book so far is The Lady Camille. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I like Love Letters to the Dead. So what about you, Ben?
I like The R.V. Kid. That's just books I've read since I was little, and so I like reading them.
That's a good choice.
Still.
Well, that's all the news we have for you today. Stay tuned on all of our socials and stay up to date by following us. Have a great and rest of your day.